Good afternoon, British COVIDians. Day 62 here, and shortly I have to go out on a medical supplies run into covided Galston. So I'll do that later. Also got a couple of phone calls to make to get more meds. So, British COVIDians, how's it going? How do you like being lied to by your government? Yeah, take the biggest lie also. Yeah, biggest lie out. Every time they stand there at their briefing with their little strap line, government likes strap lines, don't they? Yeah, with their little strap line underneath. I feel like they should put something like McDonald's. COVID. I'm loving it. Yep. But every time they stand there at their little lectern with their little briefing underneath that they won't allow certain journalists into with the little strap line there, they lie. Yeah, they've been lying about the true death toll right from day one. Total and absolute lie. Yeah, absolute lie. In fact, they're still lying about it, which, if you take anything from the Financial Times, Royal Colleges and all that lot upwards, we know already is certainly in the region of over 60k. Yeah. Now, back to school on June the 1st. Seems to be the main one in the press at the moment, and quite rightly so. So let's tackle that one. Yeah, and then we'll go on to one or two other things, okay? But back to school. This from The Guardian, my friend Kate posted this from The Guardian today. Thank you, Kate. All right, I'll just read you a little bit of it. Professor Tim Spector, actually not the head of MI5, the head of the Department of Genetic Epidemiology at King's College London, has restated his claim that the NHS is underestimating the real number of people infected with coronavirus. His claims based on data thrown up by the COVID symptom app launched by King's. Speaking on the Today programme, Spector claimed that there were 50,000 to 70,000 people in the UK with coronavirus who are not being told to self-isolate. He blamed Public Health England and the wider tracking strategy, saying an insistence that only temperature and cough were the major symptoms was missing thousands of cases. Spector said 1.5 million people were logging on to the King's app and tracking a wide range of symptoms and changes. He went on and tells us that we've got at least 100,000 cases at the moment of people who are infected. And this from our data, although the NHS would underestimate that because they're not counting all the systems. So that does kind of relate to what I was going to say about back to school on June the 1st, plebs. What if you're a teacher going back then? Yeah, and you have those symptoms, but according to Public Health England, you're not supposed to self-isolate. The symptoms also, as you know, go, let's just do the old COVID nose test. Yeah, losing the sense of smell. Yeah, even that. Yeah, other symptoms, but don't self-isolate according to those. Only if you've got the cough and the fever. Notice something you can measure, forehead measure, and something you can hear, COVID cough. Yeah, but other symptoms, which certainly are associated with the disease, are not being mentioned. So, think about it this way, teachers. If I were you, I would strongly support you. Don't go back. Yeah, don't. Parents, I believe from a poll already done that you support teachers in not going back. I believe you do. That's fantastic. Please continue to support them. Although the Daily Faily and whatever will still try and shame them, although the right-wing press will put pressure on them, you can help. Don't send your kids back on June the 1st. But we know as well, and please never forget it, okay? Eton Harrow and the private schools, yeah, they're opening on a totally different timescale. September. Even maybe not certain then, but September. Now, okay, I will accept that on the playing fields of Eton, excuse me, I have to be a bit expansive because I'm sure the playing fields of Eton are very big, where Kipling would have said, play up, and play the game. Because to the ruling classes, everything is a game. It's all jolly well cricket, you know, yeah? But on the playing fields of Eton, they're so big that you could isolate one pupil on sort of, the goal end of one football pitch and another pupil on the other goal end. And you could have a teacher with a megaphone speaking to them. I'm sure the classrooms are absolutely cavernous. Cavernous classrooms. So you could have Pitt the younger sitting over there, Pitt the elder sitting over there, and right at the back in the Eton classroom could be dear old Tom Brown. Okay, Tom Brown, these are your school days, and I'm going to shout at you over a megaphone, okay? So be absolutely certain, yeah? Rather than the idea of isolating off all your little desks, as we've now seen done, with that kind of black and red stripy tape in between them, telling your kids that they have to eat at their desks. Tell your 6-year-olds they've got to eat at their desks. Ensure that there is a one-way system in the school. Police that one-way system between 6, 7, maybe 8-year-olds. Police the one-way system. Have them wash their hands when they come in. Have them wash their hands before they eat. Have them wash their hands at all the same times. Don't let them hug their friends. Yeah? Why not? With a class of 6-year-olds all working at their own desks. And by the way, no artwork or stuff on the walls. Paper can hold on to the virus for 24 hours. Staff to mark books and work 24 hours later. Give the virus a chance to die. Yeah? Deep cleaning of the schools. Oh, I'm sure they've all got that. Oh, and so far as I can tell, no PPE for teacher. None. No, just teachers just told don't go near the pupils. Don't go near them. Yeah. So someone wants a bit of help with their maths or whatever, or their early arithmetic, and you've got to stand back there and you've got to gesticulate or put something on a whiteboard about how they do it. Don't go near the pupils. School is going to be a sterile experience, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure even Eton are cutting down the class sizes as well, but it's going to be a sterile experience, isn't it? And you know what? It's your kids that are going back first. Would you expect it any other way? Other than making your kids the canaries down the coal mines for the rich bastards, would you expect it any other way? Of course you wouldn't. That's what it's like to be a mere peasant, a plebeian, living in Tory society. And of course you do understand that as soon as these kids are back to school, that's more of the workforce released into the population, because billionaires are getting so worried now that their billions are going down. They are so worried. Even Mike Ashley is having an online sale from Sports Direct with 65, 70%, 80% off everything. Dear old Mike, he must be getting really desperate. I mean, he might be having to dig into his reserves, his billions. Yeah, don't you think? Do you think Mike's going to dig into his reserves? Because I'll tell you one thing's for certain. Any furloughed workers, the state are paying. Not Mike. No, he's not paying them. And Tim, nice but dim. Any furloughed workers, I promise you, Tim's not paying, okay? The state are paying. And why have you all got to go back to work so quickly? Yeah? Well, because the economy, of course, it's the economy. Another thing for you to remember, right? I think I said this yesterday as well, but please do remember it. When all this is over, when you've lost more aunts, uncles, grandparents, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, especially in care and nursing homes where people have been left just to die, yeah, and die in unrelieved agony. When you've lost all those people, just bear this in mind, right? Because when it comes to paying for COVID, yeah, the weakest, the sickest, the most vulnerable, the most elderly, they're paying. It's got nothing to do with the government bailing it out, bailing the country out like they bailed the banks out to 500 billion. Too expensive. Not happening. Well, I better go now as I've got to go and start phoning around for my prescriptions. Please resist sending your kids back. Please remember that the rich are doing fine. They're not having to risk their health in care homes. They're not having to risk getting the virus and then to die in unrelieved agony in care and nursing homes. Of course not. They're in private care and nursing homes with incredibly good standards, with all the medical attention they need, with all the PPE that is necessary, with all the oxygen that will be necessary to allow them to breathe during, or at least try and breathe during those last lung-filled coughing moments of their life. Even their lives will be ending more pleasantly, more comfortably, with more palliation, more care than many of your loved ones' lives will be ending. Then maybe even my life will be ending. Remember the true death toll. Remember the government lied to you. And if they really, really, really cared, they would have sorted all this lot out in care homes and made all those resources available much sooner. But frankly, they don't care. And more than anything, they need you back at work to make them rich. Bye.